Liam Crowley of comicbook.com here with one of the women challenging for the WWE Women's Championship this weekend at Backlash, France. It's Miss Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you for having me.
I should be saying thank you for the Tiffy time. I realize I just messed that up right at the beginning. But I want to start by talking to you about your international appeal. Back in February at Elimination Chamber in Australia, you got one of the biggest reactions out of anyone booked on that card. Now we're heading to France. What is it about your international fan base that just makes you so popular?
I've been actually trying to figure that out. I really have no idea. I honestly feel like everyone just loves the typical American girl, and I feel like I am the embodiment of that.
Sure. And I feel like also we got to collect all the Tiffy time zones across the globe. I feel like that's the
Exactly.
way to go about it. Absolutely. So, and before you came in to the main roster, you obviously had an extensive career on NXT. And I was curious about the origins of your leap from when you first got signed, when you first were brought into developmental to your first TV match. You had one of the quickest transitions, I feel like, from starting in, I want to say in August and having a TV match by November. What was it about just training for WWE specifically that you were able to acclimate to it so quickly?
I think my background, I was a gymnast like my entire life. So I was naturally very coordinated when it came to wrestling. So the roles and everything came very easy to me. So I think that helped tremendously. I think that's kind of been the trend is like hiring gymnasts now because they pick it up very quickly. But I also think what kind of mostly got me on TV was the fact that I kind of got a character down, and I knew who I was right off the bat. And they loved my character, and that's kind of what got me on TV.
And someone who paid attention to your character early on was one of your opponents this weekend, Bailey. She said in an interview last year that you had something that she had initially struggled to capture when she first started with WWE, and that was your presence. You immediately entered the room, and people were like, okay, that passes the airport test. She is a WWE superstar. Hearing comments like that from Bailey, and now a year on facing her in one of her first championship defenses since WrestleMania, just what does that whole thing mean to you?
Yeah, I think she's amazing. She's been doing this for I think 14 years now. But she always tells me that I have another 14 years to catch up to her, and I frankly don't think I need the 14 years. I've been doing this 2.5 years, and I'm already going toe to toe with her. So, um, we'll see what happens this Saturday.
And one of the things that you're talking about how you got your character down so quickly, I was reading that you took inspiration from two people in particular, one real life character, one fictional character, Paris Hilton being the real one, and Sharpay Evans being the fictional. I'm a big High School Musical fan myself, and I want to give you a fun question, running down the six original cast members, cast characters from High School Musical, and pairing them up with a WWE superstar. So if you are Sharpay, who's your Ryan, who's your Troy, who's your Gabriella, who's your Taylor, and who's your Chad?
Oh my gosh. Okay. My Gabriella, that's probably I feel like my Gabriella right now would probably be Bailey. She's kind of like the baby face, the nice girl. And then my Zac Efron would be Ludwig Kaiser. And then my what's next? My Chad?
We got Chad, Taylor, and Ryan.
Ryan. So that's like my brother, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't really have maybe Grayson Waller. We tagged one time. And then my Chad. Good question. Maybe Nia Jax. We're gonna switch them out for a female. And then what's the last one? Taylor?
Taylor, yeah.
Mm, Naomi. She's kind of like the annoying one, I feel like, and that's Naomi.
I like the Nia and Chad comparison because they both have the same curly hair, like especially right now these days. That you
Yeah.
put that side by side together, it'd be fun. This could end up being a very big year for you, Tiffany. It's already shaping up to be because immediately after Backlash France, we have the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, and you are already one of the fan favorites to win the whole thing. Fans are already photoshopping you into Queen of the Ring attire. So I wanted to ask you, based on if that does come to fruition, Do you already have concepts for what Queen Tiffany would look like?
Of course. I've got all the pink robes, the pink crowns lined up. I feel like if I were to win, when I win Queen of the Ring, I feel like it's going to be the perfect embodiment of being a queen.
We'll have to look out for the pink cape and the crown and everything. I think it'll look really cool. You draw a lot of comparisons to many people from across the wrestling industry, with just how you present yourself, but also you are carving out your own path with everything that you're creating, with your catchphrases, your entrances, and all that. Something that always rubs me the wrong way, and I don't know if you feel the same, is a lot of people draw comparisons between you and AEW's Mariah May, and I'm like, the only parallel between the two is that they're both blonde. When you see
Mhm.
comparisons to Mariah or even other blonde WWE superstars, what's just your reaction in general to that?
Obviously, it's annoying. Just because we have the same colored hair does not mean we look alike or we're stealing each other's gimmicks or styles. I get compared to so many other people, Trish Stratus, Charlotte Flair. Honestly, I think everyone is on their own path. And I think Mara May is amazing. I think she's such a great wrestler. She's gorgeous. But yeah, it can be annoying for sure. But I feel like wrestling fans are going to be wrestling fans, and everyone's always a copy of this person, or this person's imitating this person, so it's nothing new, to be honest.
Yeah, and I feel like especially as the year shapes out, once we do get Queen Tiffany, because I feel like we just manifested that on this interview. I think for sure the comparisons will end there, and Queen Tiffany will be her own character moving forward. Another
Yes.
thing that obviously you drew inspiration from within your move set is your finishing move. I know everyone always raves about it, the prettiest moonsault ever, probably the best moonsault in the business right now. Obviously, a bit of an homage to Christopher Daniels, who had the best moonsault ever. Have you ever had? I know you said that the naming of the move is almost in homage to him, who kind of made that his variation of it, put it on the map and all that. Have you ever had a conversation with Christopher Daniels just about the parallels between the move and just you kind of taking the reins for it moving forward?
I have not. I have not had one conversation with him. But yeah, I mean, the move is essentially named after him. He did it very well. I actually had a coach at the Performance Center show me the move, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I feel like it takes my trampoline background and combines it with wrestling and with like the jumping to the ropes.
You obviously this weekend we mentioned that you're facing Bailey. We also talked about Naomi a little briefly as well. Preparing for a triple threat match, I always feel like, especially for in-ring veterans, it might just be another day at the office because you've been doing it for so long. But with you, you've only have what, 2 or 3 years of experience under your belt, and on a big stage like international, going to France and Backlash, first premium live event after WrestleMania. Just the fact that we're dealing with 3 women this weekend, how does that change how you prepare for a match like this?
So I've actually had a couple of triple threat matches. To be honest, they're complete chaos. But I also feel like a lot of the pressure is lifted off just because it's not a one-on-one. There's girls, there could be like a girl fighting another girl. So I feel like the pressure is a little bit less going into this. I'm super excited. I love triple threat matches. And I feel like there's so many great competitors in this match. There's Naomi, and there's Bailey, and there's me, and I'm just super excited for this match.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one for sure. It's going to be one of the highlights of Backlash France. Tiffany, before we get out of here, every time I interview a wrestler, because I'm a big fitness guy myself, I always love to know what specific workouts wrestlers are doing to get them into in-ring shape. So with that in mind, what is your favorite muscle group to train? And if you could recommend one exercise under that muscle group, what would it be?
I think having really strong legs is super important in wrestling because you do a lot of getting up, getting down, posting for people. I think honestly, just a typical barbell squat. I think getting under any weight, getting past parallel, and getting your knees strong is so important. There's so many knee injuries nowadays. So I think having strong legs and strong knees is super important for wrestling.
All right. Well, I've got to really refine my leg day because I hate to squat. I got bad knees myself. And I saw you doing weighted pull-ups with like a 45 plate the other day on Instagram. I was like, damn, you're gonna be benching the entire women's division in no time. Tiffany, those are all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for your time again. And I would say good luck this weekend, but it seems like you're on a roll. You don't really need it.
Thank you for having me.